My Kiwanis Club sponsored Explorer Post 20, Boy Scouts of America, for young men, which I led for over 20 years, located in Los Alamos, New Mexico. We specialized in river running, in small rowed rafts, using our own river guides and our unit leadership, food packing in waterproof bags, and a 30-passenger bus. This bus was afforded by utilizing the profits when operating a lunch bar at the local ski area in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Many members of the local Kiwanis Club volunteered to help this weekend operation, where the Explorers operated with only one paid employee, which kept the costs down. Practice rowing sessions took place on the nearby Rio Grande during spring high water. Local overnight trips were required for all prior to the big once-a-year trip on western rivers. All were tested for swimming skills. Much driving is necessary from this arid and southwest part of the USA to reach adequate rivers. Annual trips included the Salmon, Snake, Yampan Green, Grand Canyon, and Cataract Canyon of the Colorado. The purpose of these films was recruiting young men, explorers, to BSA and memories for parents and scouts. You know, it worked. Patch, which we wear on our shirts whenever we're traveling officially on the bus. And this is a raft with the 2 oars out, which is our main method of locomotion down any river, in particular the Colorado. The front cover of an excellent river guide, which has many maps in it that we used throughout the trip. The trip starts at Glen Canyon Dam, really, where we review it, shown here in this map, right at Lake Powell. And then we go on down to Lee's Ferry, where we put on the river. Here at this map, we see in the upper right-hand corner, Lee's Ferry, fairly close to Page. Then we proceed down through Grand Canyon National Park, past Phantom Ranch, and through Lava Falls, and we take out at Hualapai Indian Reservation, up Diamond Creek. River map at 1 inch per mile is fairly easy to follow as we go down the river. Most of the boatmen know this, and we can see the number 2 there for the river miles as we proceed on down, with each of the rapids fairly well noted. We'll be following this by daily observation of the river maps. Here the canyon is also shown in the river map because there are many different formations as we pass through them. We'll just take a sample of these as we go down through the canyon, getting deeper and deeper into it. The red wall limestone, while it's really white, it's stained by the sandstone over it, makes some of the best cliffs in the whole canyon. Below the great unconformity, the earth has been vastly changed, and finally down at the base of the canyon and the inner gorge of the Colorado River, we see the Vishnu Schist, which is one of the oldest formations in the whole canyon. It also has these in pictorial form, which also makes it easier for the layman to understand exactly which rocks are where. So we follow these rather carefully. The inner gorge of the canyon is quite different. When we get out of the sedimentaries nearly completely and get down into the Vishnu Schist and the Zoroaster granite, these are the oldest rocks in the whole canyon. And this makes the character of the river quite different too, as the river cuts through these harder rocks. Our experienced boatmen in Post 20 also learn where to run the tongue of the river, where to avoid the eddy and the big holes into it. This is quite the challenge in being able to select one's own route and being able to look beneath the surface of the water to see really what's down there. In Los Alamos, we leave the Episcopal Church in our red and white school bus. This bus has been repainted from the classic yellow to some brighter colors to indicate our posts working that way. A lot of things are put on top because this is where we need to place things, as there's not enough room within the bus to do everything. We've looked ahead at a map on this trip, which takes us past Shiprock and towards Page, which is the main gateway city toward the river of the Grand Canyon, which of course is the Colorado. This is across desert country, and it has many interesting canyons in it, and we'll take a look at one of these before we get there. Lee's Ferry is where the boat part of the trip starts.
I don't think you can get all of this in, but you want to see it.
Well, we're finally loaded, leaving Episcopal Church en route to the Grand Canyon. Our bus climbs up the hill and onto the main road towards Page, Arizona. En route to the Grand Canyon, we stopped by a very interesting carving in the rock of the sandstone done by water ages ago. But this is an intriguing place. It looks more like a clave, but really is just a slot in the rock. And we can scamper down in there so we can see the people getting there. It's kind of hard to get in. You have to hop down in it and hope there's no water running at that time. Actually, it'd be very dangerous to be in here during thunderstorm season because that rushing water is what carves the soft sandstone out. We'll see a little more of this when we get down in the Grand Canyon, but not on this intimate or close-up scale. Both the boys and girls love to see these carvings in the rock, which are rather fascinating to all of us, yet kind of hard to photograph. We all look ahead and up to the sky, which is a lot brighter than in this dark crack. Fascinating place, Antelope Canyon, near Page, Arizona, en route to the Grand Canyon. Antelope Canyon is cut in monolithic sandstone by the very abrasive water, which trickles down here occasionally through flash flood. And the top of the canyon is overhung, and the convolutions we can see as the camera pans down is where the water meanders with its very abrasive route. Leaving this narrow crack in the rock is difficult, but we help each other up and continue on our trip on down to the Grand Canyon. But this is a wonderful side trip, quite an exchange. Nobody had ever been into that narrow a sandstone canyon before, which is formed by the rushing water of a once-a-year rainstorm in this arid country. There's the crack we crawl out of and back into the bus to continue on toward Page and Lee's Ferry. View from the top of the bridge on the Colorado River below the dam. This looks like an aerial view, yet in the Visitor Center.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Palm Visitor Center. At this time, we're about to leave on our free tour of Grand Canyon Dam. Travel will be found a relief map located in the lobby of the Visitor Center.
You're right here at the dam in this picture, and we're going to go take a tour down inside.
On each side. They go around they built land dams, coffer dams on each side, and had a dry area in the middle. You can see that big diesel on the top there.
Post 20 obviously is going to go down the river on this trip through Grand Canyon. This map, we're starting in the upper right hand corner. Lee's Ferry. Later at Glen Canyon Dam, we're going to put in down here Lee's Ferry. Then proceed down under Marble Canyon Bridge, some 20 miles, and continue down the Grand Canyon. Ferry, quite hot, unloading the bus, and getting our rafts inflated. Everybody's somewhat a little bit of torpor by the heat. Here's some hot breezes going. Oars and some of the board frames are carried. Lots of puffing and snorting. Each raft is inflated here in the heat. Carline inflates the inflatable floor on the high side. This boat buddy pumping. All's ready at Lee's Ferry. Post 20 pushes off. Paul Ellison taking the lead. And to make it, positioning ahead of the rapids. Gently carrying across. Down through in the carrying position. Cindy are the next ones to come down. Looking good there so far. Hit a big hole. Lost control there briefly. Backwards over the rock. Didn't fill though.
Double rowing frame is John Martin and Mark Van Eckhout.
Boy, they sure hit the big hole there.
They almost lost it.
Who's in this raft?
This one's Bob McFarlane and Aaron Eklund. This is Jim Chase and Chris Leonard. Jim Chase is rowing.
How are they doing? After Badger, excuse me, it's Oak Creek. It's a steeper rapid, probably with a clear-cut route. We walk down ahead and look it over. Long drop.
Dutch Worthington and Andy Doe coming into Soap Creek Rapids. Lining up to the tongue. 92 down to a big hole. Nice run through there. Into some big waves. Okay, here we have the rubber duck with the Marvin family in it. Ronnie and Neil. Getting around the hole, pulling back into big waves.
Miles Fitzgerald is taking the cataract by himself down this one. Positioning carefully, ahead of the time. Big challenge, first big water there. Good job. Right straight through the haystack to be good.
Nicely done. First wave one for miles on the Grand Canyon. John Martin. And we loaded front end of his raft. Go down the tongue. Big hole. There's the haystack. Neatly through. Tail waves down lower. Aaron Eklund, Bob McFarland. Aaron's first big rapids in the Grand also. Get that one just right. How about that? Aaron is rowing. Move the camera downstream now. Soap Creek Rapid. Boy, look at them break through those waves now. A lot lower level. Completely disappearing there in the hole. Neat job there. Fast water. Our trip leader, Paul Allison, was slowed. He elected to go last this time. Let Ronnie Parker on the first. Let's see how they do. Expert boating in there. Big water. Wow, look at that splash. I'll have some bailing to do after this one. Well, at the foot of the rapid, the boats regroup. Soap Creek, this is low water, low tide, so it made it a lot rockier. It's evening now, or close to it, so the guys have stopped in the shade to escape some of the heat. And we finally head on downstream towards our campsite. Everybody's bailed their boats out. It's evening shadows increase. Early morning takeoff from our first night on river. Past some interesting reflections and quiet water. The tide's going down now. Except for some crows we've disturbed, it's very pleasant here early morning. So far the heat of the canyon, but the sun hasn't reached its inside the canyon. House Rock Rapid has some of the most difficult hydraulics we've seen so far. It's a constriction rapid. House Rock behind the camera has pushed the river and debris, rocks in the river, over against the left wall. Our crew goes down to look it over. A huge standing wave has a diagonal roller to it. That's the obstacle right there. You can't take that to the tongue. An oars party, a commercial group just preceded us. John Martin is leading it first for post 20. Double rowing frames. Come in a little closer. Jim Tate. Post 20. We're going to go the center route. Yes. And maybe the second hole.
I think we do that, Doug.
Paul Allison coming down in the Titanic. Heading for the big hole now. There they go. Last getting a stroke in. Now the next one. Farland coming, a lightweight raft. Taking the sporty route. Cindy yelling in the front. There, they made it. Move their hair back and through the second one. Oh, there they go.
Oh!
Back up, back up. Okay, looks like they canned there. Bell pulling her back in. Boat got dumped out a bit. Comes the post 20 pickup boat down the bottom to help them out if they need it. Both up. Partial roll there, dumped them out. Safety boat pulling back in also. Everything's okay. Sitting around, loafing here in the rocks below Little Colorado. Hey, I wonder what they got over there. Like somebody else eating lunch here.
Ready to make a move?
Monsters. Don Martin and Aaron with him. Martin, he's going for it on the right. So he's sort of entering that about in the center. No, he's over on the far right. Whoa! Well, here we go. We're going to see what the far right is like. They got behind that big hole in haystack nicely. Ronnie started yet? Yeah, Ronnie's into it. Ronnie is a little closer over. Clears the other one nicely. Whoa! Can't figure why Ronnie's pulling back toward the center. He's doing the ferry that I was thinking of doing. Is he going to make it? Well, it's going to be interesting. They're going to hit it. Whoa! Well, that's a good run. Good for him. Down here close to the river, Hance looks quite different. As there are many, many rocks, some aerating, which need to be avoided. These, when they're deep under the river, make the big holes. We've seen them both try and avoid. Many of the waves are aerated or exploding. These are called holes, where it's just behind a rock upstream. Comes in, makes a hole, and is compressed. They're the roughest part for a raft to hit. Sometimes they're called haystacks. They throw the water up very high, and they act as a pivot point for any raft or craft. We avoid these whenever we can. They're quite different from tailway. Worthington, one of the next to come through. There he comes, makes the ferry nicely. Between the big rocks, past the waterfall. Looking good so far. Take it back. I'm just like Bob McFarlane. Looks like he's going to clear the big one. And he does. Nice run there. Well, for the viewfinder I missed. This is Bill McFarlane. Andrea Sode up front. Got a face full there and another one. A little bit further out than before. Looking good though. Not working too hard. You can tell their position's right. And past the big hole. Very neat. Elsa and Bob McFarlane have elected to take a sportier route here. Going clear to the right side of the river. The big ferry across. Coming through together. Two buddy boats. And like is he starting at the ferry or is he going to stay there? No, they're going to make the ferry, trying for it. Much sportier route than what the little rafts took. Gone through a big one. Wind's picked up here a little bit. That ship is called the Titanic. Good name for a raft. And goes in behind the big one. Very neat. Nicely done. Look at the height of those waves. Following on comes McFarlane. Getting off to a fairly early start here. These boats are getting ready, tying everything down. I see Bill with his hat on backwards getting ready. Looks like he's going to be the next one down. These smaller rafts sometimes will take a sportier route. Now there's a pickup boat downstream. Let's watch them go through. As they position themselves first. He's selecting to go a fairly sporty route out toward the horn. Now over the horn. There's a big horn behind him. And he gets through it very neatly. Titanic, right down the center. Lots of water breaking over them. And they're through. They'll wait down in the eddy. Sporty route. Trying for the big horn, apparently, missed it. That's a lot neater than taking the easy route. Jimson. What is that? There we go. Uh-oh, almost. Unhorsed him a bit. Regained the oars. We look over Granite Canyon Raft. 1/5 of the water there was earlier. I get face full there. And so it's rowing in the front. Parker's taking a different route. Just floating in the rear. Pretty neat. Didn't have to work hard at all. Pretty good haystacks there though. And through the last one. Moving the camera, this rapid looking at the sun is quite aerated. That's where the term white water comes from. Waves explode into froth and run up into the air. These are the so-called haystacks. Big piles of water directed up. haystack has its own characteristics. They're caused by turbulence of the river hitting the bottom, rebounding, velocity. It's the holes in front of the haystacks that give us problems. Rafts. Picked up at the bottom. See both of them, they're trying to hang on, get the overturn rope. And there's company to help them out. See Bill still has the cat. They're up the top of the raft, so we'll have to go through a turnover practice. Oh, a real thing this time. They're getting up. And they pull the raft over. Safety boat standing by. The little rafts always go after a safety boat and they do that. See how this raft goes. They floated a little bit on those haystacks to start with. And take and twist. Turned around there once. Make maneuver. Unnecessary. This part's underwater when the river gets up along towards 20,000. Now leading again is Paul Allison. While the helicopter hovers overhead, sightseeing flight, a big blast through the initial wave. And that's it. Allison led Aaron Flode rode that last one. One of our alumni who had joined us at Phantom Ranch. Here comes Jim Tate and Chris Troy. There we go. Neat route, lasting through the initial water. Tate holding on in front, Chris at the oars. By the edge of the rapid, Colorado runs over many rocks. Forces the river into its channel. These rocks frequently form a V or tongue which we try and take down. That's the route we try and take down. Looking here closely at a trough or exploding wave near the head of Hermit Rapids, which gives the boys a little bit of sport there. This time, stand right side up. It's not all rapids in the river. There's a lot of flat water in between. We row our way downstream, below Hermit Rapid. Waiting in the water is the only way really to get up. Crazy. Well, regretfully time to leave. Beautiful Havasu Canyon. And get back to our rafts. Waiting for us at the Colorado River. You see some Rocky Mountain sheep at a distance in the shade at the water's edge. Munching away, they must be used to the great number of rafts that come by. Well, we're swimming in rapids this time. The safety boat is out. And there goes Parker leading the group. Bunch. Trying to get out in the big tailways. Downstream we see Paul with a safety boat. Pretty big water, like surf to swim in. Early morning packing now in the hot sun at Fern Glen Beach. Packing our boats, we hike up beautiful narrow Fern Glen Canyon, a tributary to the Colorado. Scrambling is required to get up by the several rocks, but true to its name, up near the end of it is a beautiful patch of ferns. Beyond the canopy of ferns we find a huge chokestone which has blocked further passageway. Well, our time to leave Shady Glen, Fern Glen, excuse me, and go back out into the heat. Of the big rapid ahead, Lava Falls, is Vulcan's Anvil. This volcanic island out on the right of the river, and up ahead you can see where the lava poured over the cliffs and actually dammed up the Colorado thousands of years ago. The river's really sawed through most of it, and Lava Falls is just what's remaining, yet to be ground up by the Colorado. Falls presents quite a spectacle, as well as a lot of noise, with the lava cascading down the right bank of the Grand Canyon, dammed the river. Some of us in Post 20 are looking it over from the right side here, high on it. Tim Tape and Chris. The rest of the crew is on the left looking it over. Well, while the remainder of our crew watches in the left bank, make their last preparations. Pulling up line very carefully so it doesn't come loose and tangle them later on. Hang up, carefully looking for these indicators for the left route. We're going to take the left route, more technical, a little more conservative. Starting to see him enter it now. There he slips off, goes through the first keeper. To the next one. There, a little bit of a stagger. And then toward the end, let's take a closer look at them there. And they have made it quite successfully. Work this raft up to the head of the eddy on the left side. We can just see him over the froth here. There's some tremendous holes on the right side. The rest of the crew is getting ready. We'll follow these two most experienced rafters, Paul Allison and Ronnie Parker. We hope we won't need him, but the conservative way of Post 20 to run things, always have a pickup raft ready with a smaller raft to help them out. We're going to take a more right-hand route. Let's film them and see what they look like. There's some real big stuff. Take a look at John Martin and Van Eckhout doing a more conservative route. Down the left side takes tougher maneuvering. We think it's a lot safer than this right-hand route we just saw with the commercial party do. And they're pushing into the next hole. Looking very good with tandem oars there. And they've got it made. Had a Bob McFarland had a big bump there at the front, but he's up and doing okay. And out. Out now. He's got their adrenaline pumping. Now he's starting to accelerate for it. That's wishing well. There he goes. Right down where the other rafts go, and he has to punch through that one. Nice job done there. Second one staggered him, still going. Engine room's working. And into the third one. Nicely done. Past the safety boat. Good run. And Andy. Adrenaline's pounding for him now. They start to accelerate. Must hit that tongue just right. A little bit sideways. Oh my goodness. Over. Oh, they wash out. The raft did not go over. I see Andy swimming around on it. Oh, there's cattywampus. Back in. Going for his passenger. He's going for the safety boat. Watch out. Safety boat picks her up. 2 boats to go, including the camera boat. We take one last look at our route. Hope we can hold it in our heads till we get down there. Through Lava Falls.
We found ourselves too far right at the top, and we were pretty scared. And then we dropped down into the big first wave and went up and then into the big hole, and we just got hammered and turned over on our side and thought we were gonna flip.
Yeah. So I fell out, and
Yeah, I was holding onto an oar, so I hopped back in the boat, which was full of water, and Cindy took off.
I guess what happened was that the boat was on the crest, and he went down one side of the crest, and I went down the other. And then
So I was in the boat hanging on and hitting all the rest of the holes and waves backwards and full of water. And
sideways, and I just got the Maytag treatment. I was all over the place, and then I got down to the bottom, and Ronnie saved me.
but I figure any run that comes out right side up is a good run.
I was impressed how well the boat stayed right side up and how fast you got back in.
Yeah.
You climb in or the water throw you back in?
It was adrenaline.
Adrenaline, how about that? Well, Cindy, you got separated from the boat. How'd that happen? You just get beamed out?
I don't know what happened. I don't remember losing hold of the boat, but I fell out and I just found myself in the water, but I kept reminding myself, I'm okay, and put my feet downstream, and I'm okay.
How did you feel when you saw Parker down there, Ronnie?
Oh,
Pick you up?
it was, thank God, definitely. So,
Quite different than swimming that rapid you did yesterday.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Was that good practice for today?
And not the same. So,
Not the same. Swimming where you wanted. Well, thanks very much for having an interview after your washout, we should say, in Lava Falls.
Thank you.
I don't know, we just kind of found them crawling around, sort of. There's one over here too. She's got another one.
Take one. Good enough?
I hope it's not in focus. There. Looks like they hang on pretty tight to your schnoz.
Oh, yeah. They kind of itch. Spoon your heart out.
I don't think I want to have a water fight.
That's why I said that too long.
Looks like an serrated spoon.
Andy doesn't giggle.
Would it be a grapefruit spoon that you had in mind, or what? No? What's that? There's a name for that spoon.
Pumpkin Spring on the Colorado River. Left bank. And a new beach game has started by Ronnie Parker. There's a slack rope between each of the 2 participants, and they pull out all the rope they can and then try and pull over the other or make the other person fall backwards. There. You lost. Danelle's the winner. Pulling in the rope tightly. And then you can either give rope or pull rope to pull the other person over. There. And that'll tricks him again by giving sudden slack. It's really a game of balance while standing on the ammunition box, which is a very precarious perch in the sand. Chris is bound and determined to win this one against Danelle, who's been knocking over all comers so far. Oh, she lost the rope, so that's one. Well, our last day on river, heading down toward Diamond Creek, early morning. River's quiet now. We've had a few rapids. Miles is going ahead slowly. It's the light headwind. Peaceful time on the Colorado. And Diamond Peak in the background. It's down there where Diamond Creek comes in, which signifies the end of the trip soon. Fairly swirly water in the foreground. We had some easy rapids today with great tail waves in them. Needless to say, the camera's put away at that time. I'm taking Chris. We're bringing up the rear this day towards Diamond Creek. The cataract, which Miles is rowing. The cataract has no floor in it. Right through and see the water between our feet, so take some care not to drop anything down in there, particularly the camera. Well, what goes on comes off. Finally back at Trinity on the Hill and unloading.